If that's your grandmother, then your mother, and it becomes you, how do you stop that? And how do you stop passing that on?
Awareness is the key. Making the smallest, most imperfect step towards changing.
Do you think you can ever truly heal from trauma?
That's a good question. If you have an intrusive thought about the trauma, you probably will have some kind of bodily thing. So I would always say attend to the body first. Is it the right finger?
Yeah.
Compassion and grace will get us far. But we don't, as humans, have infinite amounts of it. We don't.
Yeah.
I'm being realistic. But people think that they go through this process and they're healed, but you won't know until you've been tested. It's a commitment.
Gosh. What if you're commitment phobic?
Shade.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the check-in. Today I'm speaking to Dr. Amani, who is a clinical psychologist. She is amazing. We talked about self-compassion, we talked about ADHD, we talked about the Ticktockification, God, that's a mouthful, of psychology. We also talked about generational trauma and survival mode. I think you're really going to enjoy this conversation, so let's get into it. Welcome to the check-in. This is where we talk to interesting people with interesting stories. And with that being said, welcome, Dr. Amani.
Hi.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm hot.
Yes.
I'm hot. And I don't want to complain too much though, because London is better in the summer.
I hear it. But I feel like we have a threshold and we are above our threshold.
By several degrees.
And it's jumped drastically. So, yeah, I will say it. I'm too hot.
Okay, fine.
I'm too hot. I felt like I was being roasted alive today as I was coming out of the station. Oh my God, it's too much for me.
On the train as well?
Yeah,
Box.
To be fair, it was cooler on the train than it was outside.
Was it? I was on the Southern Eastern.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that one is.
I was on the tube.
Okay, yeah, that one's not for purpose.
But it was when I came out of the station, it's just like hit me.
Yeah.
Oh,
and that feeling is only good when I'm on holiday and I'm getting off the plane. Yeah, that's the only time it's a good feeling.
And when air conditioning is regular, no matter where you go, then that is cool. But no, not this stuffy England full of pollution. Like no. And also as well, like people don't understand the way our houses are built, it traps the heat.
Absolutely.
So it's actually hotter than we think it is indoors. But yeah, okay, Dr. Amani, we're going to get to know you, get to know a little bit about you. I've got loads of questions for you. But before we get into that, can you please let me know about one moment of joy that you've had in the past week?
That's such a nice question.
Thanks.
That's such a nice. You know what? One moment of joy, I will say, was actually yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we launched our new pod.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So called the Listener's Couch.
Amazing.
We're part of the TMB network.
Amazing.
And yeah, it was a proper moment of joy because that's been in the talks for a long time, and to sort of see my friends celebrate me and get really gassed for me. It was nice.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Who's we?
Sorry, good question. So it's me, two of the clinical psychologists as well. So Dr. Shadiq and Dr. Cheryl. The three of us make up the Listener's Couch.
Okay, cool. Yeah. What kind of things are you going to be talking about?
So it's a therapy / psychology based show, essentially. So we want to have real conversations about all things mental health, well-being, relationships, just anything psychological, neurodiversity, etc.
Yeah.
And we want to have real conversations that are relatable for the community, but also we want to be able to kind of tap into like what's happening in the culture. Yeah. So thinking about like viral topics, trending topics, videos, etc., and like putting like a professional lens on it. Also dilemmas as well. People can send them in so they can get like a professional perspective on whatever they're going through. Yeah.
I love that. I think that's so like we're missing that from like everyday things that we watch. Like I'm really into Love Island and I would love to talk to a psychologist. Do you know what I mean? About the things that we're seeing, like the dynamics, like when you see like groupthink happening in the villa and, whether people are being bullied or are they not and that sort of thing. Like,
Love Island and all those shows like the perfect kind of like case studies for a lot of things. So yeah, you're going to enjoy.
Oh, I can't wait. So when is it on? When is it on?
Okay, so we start live on this Friday coming, which is the, oh my gosh, what's the date? The 29th. Yeah. 29th of May. Okay. Yeah. So it's going to be live on YouTube, 7 p.m. till 9. And then obviously the videos after that will be up the following week. So the Monday. It should be the Monday.
Okay, cool. All right, no problem. Yeah. Well, we'll put a little link in the description box. Yeah, and people can watch that. That is really cool. So yeah, I love that. Nice moment of joy. Starting new things and everything. Yeah. So you're a clinical psychologist. Can you tell me a little bit about how you even got there? Like, what was that journey like?
Are you ready for a long story? Because it's a long process. Okay. I decided I wanted to do this quite young. I was like 13.
Oh, really? That is very young.
Yeah, I was really young. And it's half because I watched Freaky Friday and half because of just who I am naturally. So I'll tell you, right? Okay. So I'm naturally I was as a child, quite emotional, sensitive. I'm a Jamaican family. So no one had time for your barling. Right. Do you know what I mean? So people family members would make fun of me because I was like the sensitive kid. But I feel like I was just more in tune with my own emotions, but kind of what was happening. Yeah. And I was kind of always putting responsibility for my younger cousins as well. Even the cousins the same age as me, actually. And I just was really interested in how people would interact or they would interact with each other. And then I would notice that adults would talk to me or us a lot about kind of, you know, if a family member has diabetes or they had a stroke or like physical health stuff. But if there was one person that was acting a bit differently, I had no idea what that was about. Like no one would talk about it with us. Right. So again, kind of in tune child, I'm thinking, what's going on? And like, you know, what's happening here? Cool. So then fast forward, I watched Freaky Friday and you've watched it?
Yeah. But I'm trying to think what's the connection, but go on.
The mom in it is a psychiatrist.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So again, I'm young at the time. Missed that. And then I was like, she looks like she can afford nice clothes. Like, again, not
good job.
Yeah, good job. And then I looked into it and then I was like, oh, okay, this kind of fits me. And I learned about psychology. And then I started to put like pieces together. Like, actually, I think I can use this one with like my natural like self, like being quite sensitive and in tune with things. But then also as well, again, seeing my community go through mental health difficulties that no one was talking to me about. I was kind of like, again, in my 13-year-old brain, like if we helped people earlier on, maybe this wouldn't happen. Like that literally was, I didn't really know what I was kind of talking about at the time, but that was just in my head. Yeah. And then as I went on, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. So I literally, everything I did was towards psychology from then. Like picked my GCSEs, knowing that I wanted to do it at A-level, did my A-levels, knowing that I wanted to do it at university. I actually had to do my AS and A-level psychology in 1 year because I failed the first year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I got a low, no, I didn't fail it, but like the grade wouldn't have been high enough to get into university. So I had to redo everything. Okay. Then I did my undergrad and then I really hit the reality of what it takes to be a psychologist. It's a lot. Like it's a lot. You have to get a lot of experience. It's incredibly competitive. Okay.
How many years experience, or is it like a year experience, or do you have to get different types of experience?
So what they say on the kind of application is that at least 12 months experience. Okay. But when you're against hundreds of people, your 12 months isn't going to do anything. Right. With people who maybe already have a PhD or people that have done a master's, I was meant to do a master's and I spent all my money traveling, so I couldn't afford to do a master's. So I came back and I was like,
did you go somewhere nice at least?
Yeah. Okay, Southeast Asia, Fiji, Australia. Yeah, stunning. Yeah. Amazing time. Yeah. But I came back and I was like, damn, I'm broke. Yeah. So I actually need to work. And again, I can be quite stubborn at times. I'm like, if I'm doing something, I'm doing it. So I just went all in working, getting experience where I could. I'm originally from Birmingham. Okay.
Really?
You'll hear my accent now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's one of those, like, people are always like, you're not from London, but I just don't know where you're from.
Okay, when you say London, I can hear it. Yeah.
Everything. It always happens. So yeah, I was getting experience there and I was applying to the doctorate and I was getting rejected. And I just thought, you know what, I'm coming to London, made a move. And then within a year, I applied again for my third time for the doctorate. And then I got on. Okay. And
wait, you have to apply?
Oh, yeah. It's a whole thing. Okay.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You don't just choose to do it?
No. Oh, sorry, when I was saying experience, I meant to get onto the doctorate.
Oh,
yeah. So you have to have like, you know, good academic a good academic record, and you also need to have clinical experience as well to then get onto the course,
right?
And then do more academics to then be able to get like the qualification, basically.
Wow.
So no, it's not just to get the job. This is to even get on the course. And then there's like 30 unis in the whole country that does the course, the doctorate. And at the time I was applying, I think, you know, you're looking at 500 spaces across the country, and you're looking at about 5,000 plus people applying for 500 spaces.
It's
incredibly competitive.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is so insane, because there are people on the internet, at the moment, who are saying that they're a doctor. And
I've been hearing,
and there's no qualifications to be found. There's some qualifications, but not the right ones that could say that they're a doctor, right? We won't name the person, but everyone's going to know who we're talking about. So it's interesting to me to hear you tell me what it takes to actually have this title to be a doctor, and how competitive it is, and how much you've had to sacrifice, really.
You sacrifice a lot. And I think as well, people don't realize that, like, again, you have to start almost at the bottom, right? To get that hands-on experience. So when I'm saying hands-on, like being a carer. And I was caring for young children with like different disabilities, physical, intellectual, or like maybe they had neurodiversity, and they were in respite centres and needed a lot of care. So I'm doing hands-on personal care, supporting them with a lot of different things, or to be able to then kind of know what it's like to support people once I get to this level. So you need to kind of work your way up and get all that experience, and then you become like an assistant psychologist, and that's a whole process. It's a thing. I won't get into it too much. But
it sounds interesting. But I'm just like, how do you feel about that though, when people can just use the title doctor and they haven't done what you've done?
I understand that there's a certain level of weight that comes with the title, and people can use it in a way which obviously benefits them. And we live in a time where it's easier to do things the quick way, and people don't really want to do their research and due diligence too tough because they just want the content, right? So I get why they do it. But I think it's frustrating because, one, obviously there's people that are putting in years of work. So if I think about it, I decided I wanted to do this from 13, then got into doctorate when I was 25.
Wow.
Right? So, and that's even actually quite young to get on as well. So there's some people doing it later, you know, spending a lot of years doing it. And I think it's, as well, it can kind of sully the quality of what's being put out there. I think it also can lead to misinformation. If you haven't had the training to, one, understand the theories you're talking about, or how to do like critical analysis, because that's a big part of our job as well. And that ultimately becomes dangerous to communities. So, you know, outside of like your own personal pride, I guess, you know, because you work so hard versus someone else, I think it can be really dangerous. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you heard it from a doctor. Do you know what I mean? Because my eyebrows were raised. I was like, what is going on? Obviously that's in America, but I don't even know if you could do that here, or
no. I mean, I don't think so. But also as well, like the term psychologist itself is not protected.
Right. Okay.
So people can call themselves a psychologist after doing like their undergrad, for example. But to be called, say, a clinical psychologist, that's protected. Right. So you have to have done the training to do that. Or an occupational psychologist. There's all different types of psychologists. So to have that like official title, you have to go through a process, but the word psychologist isn't protected.
Right. So if someone calls themselves a psychologist, what would you look for to see if they're legit or not?
I would ask them what type, and if they can't give you that, ask them what kind of governing body that they're registered to, because I have to be registered to a governing body. Right. So, and you can search my name, and it's there. And they have to, you know, we have to go through a process. They have to see your certificate that you've done the course, etc., etc. So it's all kind of verified. So I'd say that.
God, because there's a lot of charlatans out there, man. My gosh, there really is. Okay, so tell me some key stats around mental health that everybody should know, especially like black women's mental health.
That's some key stats. I think it's important to, one, sometimes I don't like giving stats because I don't think they're as representative as they can be, because again, we know that the research isn't really including people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I can say things like 1 in 3 people have a mental health difficulty in their lifetime, but like, who is that applied to? Do you know what I mean? So I think I like to sort of just lean more towards saying it's incredibly common for someone to have a mental health difficulty. I would say for Black women as well, I think it's important to remember that Black people, but you asked about Black women, are disproportionately represented in kind of mental health hospitals as well. And we are often given the kind of more quote unquote severe types of diagnoses. And I say severe not because I don't think other conditions can have a huge impact on people, but I say severe because I know words like schizophrenia and psychosis have a heavier connotation to them, to the general public, than say anxiety. So that's what I mean when I say severe. But we are disproportionately represented in mental health hospitals, and I've worked in them, seen it. You're seeing those things.
What do you think the reasons are for that?
So right now I work with children and families, right? And obviously we're talking very early in someone's life that they're starting to have some difficulties, and how they're kind of diagnosed or assessed can be impacted by people's kind of prejudgments, biases, stereotypes, whatever you want to call them. And we know that kind of Black children tend to get kind of labelled with like behavioural difficulties, conduct disorder, those things, and things like neurodiversity are then kind of pushed to the side, or they don't consider different things. I can give an example. When this is years and years ago, I kind of saw a referral, and it was kind of, again, conduct disorder, all of these things. I met with the young person who was, as a Black child, spoke to them, and they missed their dad.
Oh.
They had a huge life change where their parents had separated, and they were acting out because they missed their dad. So imagine now if I didn't sit down and ask these questions and think about these things with them, they would be labelled as kind of difficult. They'd be constantly kicked out of class. Then their education is then jeopardised because they're not
disrupted.
They're not going to get their education. So then you're not giving them the opportunities for things in life. We know that more unfortunate social circumstances can lead to stress. We all know. Me too. If I don't have money, I'm going to be stressed, right? So imagine if you're like chronically poor, right?
We don't talk about the trauma around poverty, to be fair.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing. So
definitely,
you've been labelled this thing. You've been kicked out of school. You've got less opportunities. And again, statistically, or I guess the correlations can show that in a lower socioeconomic background, there are higher levels of certain difficulties, relational, single parent households, maybe substance abuse, etc., domestic violence. So a load of trauma is happening around you as well, and you're not getting opportunities. You're going to be stressed. You're going to have developed a view of yourself and the world that is not the most helpful for you, right? Because you're constantly facing these things. And if I get even a bit more like wider macro with it, right? Because again, you're asking me specifically about Black people. The levels of like systemic racism and discrimination that happen on such an insidious level, right? I already spoke about the kind of differences in how we're viewed even as children. But if you just keep facing that day after day after day after day, in ways that maybe you don't even realise, it will wear you down. It will weigh, especially if you don't feel well resourced financially or emotionally to deal with those things. That's enough for people to end up having some real mental health difficulties.
How does that show up though?
So
if you're dealing with like the systemic issues on a day-to-day basis, what can you spot in a person to say that, okay, maybe that's what they're dealing with? Because I feel like we normalize so much, or like we accept that we are going to deal with racism, right? In our lifetimes, especially if you're like, I think every Black person in the UK has probably dealt with some sort of racism, whether overt or not. But like, how do you, if you're kind of like accepting like this is part of life, how can maybe a psychologist spot that and say, okay, this is what you're dealing with here, because we've normalized it so much ourselves.
And look, almost accepted it so it doesn't feel like it's adding to our stress.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So what I would say is that sometimes, okay, fine, we've emotionally dealt with it, but there are practical implications, right? And maybe the practical implications are the things that are causing you the stress.
Right.
So if you were to think about stop and search, maybe men in the police, right? You might expect almost to have that happen to you.
Yeah.
And in your mind accepted it, but that's practically stopping you every single day. Is that not causing stress? I'm sure it'd be causing stress.
That's so mad. Like, I used to have this boyfriend, it's so random.
Yeah.
But I used to have this boyfriend that used to drive to my house, yeah. He lives in Camberwell, I lived in Pimlico. Every time he would drive to my house, he'd get stopped. Every single time. And it was just insane. Like, and it wasn't like, oh no, he's lying. Like, literally, he's on the phone. I can hear the police in the background. Yeah. And everything like that. So I just started, and it's not me getting stopped, but I started developing this really irrational fear of, like,
I was just about to, go on.
Like, do you know what I mean? Of the police. Yeah. Because I was just like, oh no, they're gonna stop her. Like, every time I heard a siren, every time I saw a car, like, it really got to me for a bit, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm going to push back a little bit. Is it irrational though?
I guess not. I guess that's what I'm talking about. It's like the normalization of it then.
The normalization of it. And the hypervigilance.
Yes. Yeah.
Now you're hypervigilant, and maybe your ex was also hypervigilant. And again, just because we then accept that as our normal, just because it's common, doesn't mean it's normal or okay. Yeah. So again, if I'm thinking about your body as well, to be hypervigilant like that all the time. Do you imagine the cortisol just in your body all the time? Yeah. In your body all the time. And then again, we wonder why Black women, crazy amounts of autoimmune difficulties. I speak to any of my friends, Black women I come across at work or whatever, there's something going on. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I can't deny that it's not stress related. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know how do we deal with stress, or how should we be dealing with stress that is not a, like, self-care, like, get your nails done, put on a candle. Do you know what I mean? How do you really get to, like, alleviating that?
Yeah. Because me too, I love those things, right? And I think they're great, but they're not going to be the solve all the time. Yeah. And I think you need to think about self-care in different ways. There's that nice stuff, but some of it is really practical, right? So some of it is boundaries, that's self-care, and that's with your time, with other people, also with yourself. Babe, when's the last time you ate? Have you eaten today? Do you know what I mean?
Well, you know, you're eating all the time.
That might be
the problem.
I hear the girls like, oh, like, I haven't drank any water today. Drink water. Yeah. Drink Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're there striving. And I get and I understand why. And we're also, like, forced into having to do that. But at the bottom is, like, food and water. Yeah. Have you even drank? Do you know what I mean? So sometimes it is about that practical stuff, really looking after yourself and looking after your body, getting that movement in. It doesn't need to be crazy. It can go for a walk, those kinds of things. Like, prioritize those things. Prioritize becoming more self-aware of your nervous system and how your body feels. Again, you know, I was speaking about, like, cortisol. You know, do you know about, like, fight or flight and stuff?
Yeah. Fight, flight, and fawn, right?
Fight, flight, fawn, freeze.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to explain those real quick?
I should. Absolutely. So we have this fight, right? Just the umbrella term is, like, fight or flight sort of response to threat. Because ultimately, if a car is coming towards me and I'm walking out the road, I haven't got time to be like, I think a car is coming and I need to, your brain needs to act. It needs to keep you alive. Your brain's sole purpose is to keep you alive and keep things running. So it then detects a threat and it says, yep, we need to go into action. And to do that, there's a, like, the middle part of your brain. So I was going to get into, like, hypothalamus and so I don't need to do that. The middle part of your brain kind of releases loads of hormones and chemicals, like, through your nervous system, through your body, to get you ready to either run away from the problem, the threat, or fight it, right? So you will get increased adrenaline, cortisol, and it activates what we call your sympathetic nervous system. Okay. And that is the fight or flight part of your nervous system. So that's why you feel things like your muscles being really tense, again, because you need to be activated and ready to do something. Your heart is going really fast because your body and the muscles needs the blood. You're breathing more shallow. You feel a bit sick because your brain's like, we don't need to digest food right now. Like, let's move the energy from that. So that's why you feel a bit sick. So all of those things happen in your body to get you ready to deal with the threats. Like I said, fight or flight.
Yeah.
Now, in small doses, absolutely fine. Again, crossing the road, a car's come in. I need that, right? But we want it to come back down to a level that is fine. But after a while, when you have chronic stress, your body's always on alert. And you almost become numb to it. You don't realize that that's happening. And you kind of just keep going, but not knowing there's cortisol and adrenaline running around your body. Hypervigilance, for example, is an example of that.
Okay.
And just being used to that. So being in tune with your body and what's happening. Is my heart going? Am I tense? Again, have I eaten? Am I feeling sick? Do I feel connected to my body? If the answer is no, we might need to do something about that, right? So we might need to start thinking about, like I said, movement, breathing exercises, looking after yourself, sleeping, all of those good things to activate the opposite of your fight or flight system, which is our parasympathetic nervous system. So that's the kind of rest and digest part of our nervous system. Again, when the brain says, we're good, we've got time to digest food now, we've got time to breathe, we want to activate that part of our nervous system. Yeah. Okay. That was a lot.
That was really good. I feel like I'd never heard of the opposite side before, to be fair.
Okay.
So that's really interesting. I wonder though, because I guess I can only really talk about myself, right? I come from a household of lots of trauma, right? And as I've got older, I've realized that I have been living in that fight mode for a very long time. So sometimes the kind of to chill or to kind of like be at like a normal level feels very foreign to me. It just doesn't feel comfortable. I don't know if I'm ever going to be fully comfortable being relaxed, I'm going to say that in inverted commas, because I think it was hardwired into me as a child not to be. And like, I mean, I was a child many, many years ago now, but I still find that difficult. And I wonder how many other people deal with that, like, or are secret, because you wouldn't know that by looking at me, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, you would have to like get to know me, maybe, you know, do you know what I mean? More than just one conversation to know that. So it's like kind of invisible. And I wonder how many people are dealing with that. Do you come across that in your work and stuff? Like,
yeah, absolutely. People who feel guilty for resting, people who are just on the go and they're just like, no, that's just who I am. And I'm like, is it though? Like, or have we just been wired that way? And again, my thing is when I work with people is I'm never going to be unrealistic with you. I'm never going to be like, you're going to be like this really zen person and you don't really care about it, because you still have a life to live. You still do need to work. You do need to do these things. Like, I'm not going to be unrealistic about it. And I'm not going to say that you will never feel guilty again for resting. What I'm trying to do is help you, one, be more aware of it, and then two, start to realize when it's starting to impact your life, and then give you more choices. Because when you've been, again, hardwired to do those things, it's limited your choices. Do you know what I mean? You've been blinkered into this one way of living, and that's not necessarily wrong, but it hasn't given you the opportunity to explore different things. And that's what I want to do. So when I'm working with someone and I'm noticing, okay, that they're, you know, feeling really guilty for resting, or they're just always on the go, it's, again, connecting to your body. What's it telling you? And knowing that our minds and our bodies can be really connected. So obviously, when I was talking about the fight or flight system, I was using the example of a car coming towards you. That's an external thing causing the threat. Our minds also can cause threats. So our brain isn't going to know that the car isn't coming. You've just said the car's coming. So somewhere in your mind, there might be a deep shame about resting or a fear about what it actually means. So I'm going to help you understand why that might be there. And then we soothe that part of you. Again, not to say it will never come up again. It potentially can. But I want to give you the opportunity and the option and the choice to notice it and do something differently. Okay.
I like the idea of soothing that part, because it does feel... Because I feel like I built my whole career around that state. Do you know what I mean? Because I done events. So it's like you're always on.
Oh.
Like you're
24/7.
always like, do you know what I mean? You always have a deadline. And that was like in line and in tune with who I was as a person. Do you know what I mean? So it was like perfect in that sense because I'm playing to my so-called strengths. But at the same time, didn't know any other way. Do you know what I mean? So when you're talking about lack of choices, that's what it felt like. I didn't feel like, I don't know, it felt like it was my calling at the time because I didn't have any, like, didn't feel like I had any other options really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
So I wonder.
It makes sense. And I think, noticing that and giving yourself some compassion for the fact that actually this has worked for a while as well. Again, I'm not here to demonize anything. Okay, this happened. It's just like part of you, how you think and how you operate, but it served a function at the time, and it probably served a function when you were a child as well. It probably did you really well. It was a survival thing.
Yeah, it kept me safe.
It kept you safe.
Yeah.
And it's, again, you've got an amazing career out of it, or whatever the kind of outcome might be of the thing. Again, fantastic. I'm not here to take that away, but it's, again, do we want this to be our entire lives? Do we want to have a choice to do something differently? And how do we extend compassion to ourselves to be able to do things differently? Because compassion is a huge area of research actually in my field, self-compassion. Huge. Again, because I was saying that deep down there's a lot of shame probably attached to kind of resting and stuff. What we know on a kind of neurological level, on a biological level, or psychological level, is that self-compassion is the antidote to shame. So it's just very interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Again, so shame causes the fight or flight. There's the sort of sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight bit. Compassion is our rest, and it activates a kind of soothing part of us. So to be able to kind of do that within yourself is really, really like helpful and powerful.
Okay. How do you do that?
How do you become more self-compassionate?
Yes.
You have to be nice to yourself. And I know it sounds so fluffy. Like literally when I tell people.
What do you mean? Like practically just be like, oh, Charlie, that was a good job. Or what do you mean?
I think it's just reframing how you talk to yourself. I think we can be very critical, right? Yeah. So even when we're trying to motivate ourselves, and again, it might have got you far to push yourself and be really critical, right? Yeah. But in that time, you've probably caused yourself a lot of stress and internal damage, whether you know it or not, because of the amount of cortisol that you're causing. You're threatening yourself. Fight or flight, cortisol. So you're eating away at yourself. So just reframing how you do things, right? And how you talk to yourself. So instead of, you're so lazy, you need to work. I really am so passionate about this thing and I really want it to work. I'm going to try and take this small step to do it. That's so much, like you're still going forwards, but you're not bullying yourself into it, right? So
that's amazing because I've already got pushback.
Yeah. Of course you do.
Because I'm just like, well, no, just do it. Like, I think my internal voice is much harsher. Like, no, I don't think that would work.
It takes time and practice.
Yeah.
It takes time and practice.
That's interesting. That's I think that's interesting real time. That my initial reaction in my mind was just like, no, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Like, what's the point? It's almost like I'm thinking, what's the point of using those words? But what you're saying is that it has an effect.
Yeah.
Over time.
Yeah, over time. And I guess then my pushback would be like, okay, but after everything we just spoke about, what is the point of it? And then we'd have a conversation about that if we were actually in a session.
Okay, so self-compassion. So talking to yourself
nicely, taking, again, not punishing yourself all of the time. Recognizing when your body is tired. Sit down. It's okay.
Okay, you see that, Let's talk about it. Because most people I know, they go to bed when they're exhausted. Like, even if they try to go to bed when they're supposed to go to bed, like say, like they need to get up early and stuff, they can't even sleep. Yeah, I find that interesting as well.
Yeah, going into you're basically going to drop. Yeah, I hear.
Yeah.
Would you allow a child to do that?
Well, no. Yeah.
But somewhere down the line, we stop doing those things. Like the same with the kind of how we encourage a child when they're learning to walk. They get up and they do their first step and they drop. Yeah. What do you say? You don't say, you dropped. You dumb.
Yeah.
You don't do that. Yeah, you recognize they're doing something for the first time and you're like, it's okay, you dropped. We go again. That's the same thing we should do to ourselves as well.
It's true. And they don't give up.
And they don't give up.
They actually don't.
No.
Yeah.
Again, going back to like, what's the point? I guess, and the pushback that I understand that people would have, one, because we're just used to it, but two, we have a culture that kind of calls for like being really critical to ourselves as well. We know, again, research, that having a growth mindset is way better than having like a fixed mindset. And I'll tell you the difference. A fixed mindset is like, I tried something and I failed, and you're just really rigid and that's it, like I'm done. You're more likely to stop. A growth mindset might see the failure as an opportunity to learn. So it's like, oh, okay, maybe I should change something here. Like you become curious, you test things out. And again, you might be messy with it. It might not be perfect, but you know that you can get there.
Yeah.
So again, that's I guess a practical way of being compassionate towards yourself, is kind of seeing things and meeting yourself and the things that you do with curiosity. Like, oh, something didn't work. What was that about? Like, again, hard emotions come up. I feel really why do I feel the need to be really critical to myself right now? Like, what's that about?
What is that about? That's a good question. Planning a wedding, traditional engagement, or milestone celebration? Vendor Finder helps you navigate the unique beauty of Black British events. From finding the perfect Alaga and MUA to sourcing the best DJs, visit vendorfinder.co.uk, the UK's premier directory dedicated to the Black British community. If you're enjoying this conversation, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, there's a new thing called Hype. Hype it up, please. And share this with a like-minded friend as well. Okay, so what are some of the things that people get wrong about psychologists in general?
Oh, they think that we can read their minds.
Oh, really?
Yeah. As soon as I listen, undergrads.
Yeah.
As soon as I went to student union or wherever I went, and I said, "Oh, I'm studying psychology." "Oh, can you read my mind then?" "Yeah." Like, that's what the guys would be. What am I thinking then? But I can't read your minds. I can get to know you the same way that you get to know anyone, and you start to learn about them and you can start to see patterns. I just have theories that maybe pick it up a bit quicker or give you the language to identify your patterns.
Right, okay.
It's not me reading your mind, it's just me trying to apply different...
Is it like personality types and things like that? Is it like that or...
Loosely, yeah. It's so hard to explain. I feel like with a psychologist, we are constantly like holding so many different theories in our head at once.
Right,
like I'm thinking, so if you've noticed in the conversation, I've gone really big and spoken about racism, and then I've spoken about like family stuff. Like I've gone like in and out. And that's constantly how we're thinking.
Okay.
We're constantly thinking about, so I would say to my clients, like I'm meeting you and I want to understand you and your personal history. But at the same time, I'm going to be thinking, what's it like to be you that grew up in this place at this time in the world, with these types of parents, with this race and this gender. So we're constantly thinking about how all of these things interlink and build what I personally like to sort of build a story. Like what's the story that you probably picked up from different places? How is that kind of developed your identity, and how is it giving you this, what we call schema, so this idea, a blueprint for how you're going to live your life.
Right, okay.
So I'm just constantly applying different theories to that process, if that makes sense. So yes, sometimes it is personality. So I might be thinking, okay, they're given a bit of type A, so they probably think they need to be a perfectionist. Yeah.
Okay. So if you can identify or have a map of those things, then it's like easier to understand like a core belief that someone has about themselves.
That's it.
Right, okay.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So that's a lot. And you're doing that for how many people at one time?
Well, one person at a time. A lot.
A lot of people.
Yeah, a lot. And oh my gosh, if I think about over the years, maybe hundreds. Actually,
wow.
Yeah. Now I thought, and it's crazy because again, a psychologist, I'm not just a therapist, and that's not to say anything about, like, they obviously have their place and they're amazing, but we do way more than that in our kind of job description. So again, assessments, ADHD, autism, different sort of psychological difficulties, consultation as well. So I might be consulting to a team and they're telling me about what the problems. I'm doing that same process, but for like a whole team.
Right, okay.
And I'm trying to give you theory and steps as to how to help with those issues.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm constantly kind of applying that thing to different people in different scenarios, depending on what the need is.
I think more people need that. to be fair. Like for like team dynamics.
Yeah, we do a lot of that.
Yeah, businesses, business partners, all of that kind of stuff. Like more people need that. And I think we would have healthier businesses and teams if that was a thing.
Yeah.
What do you call that? What do you...
organizational consultation.
Okay.
Yeah. So so in our training, we get taught to work with like an individual person, but then, and like at any age, and then like families and couples, but then wider and wider and wider all the way up to like a team, like an organization. We taught how to deal with that as well.
Okay, I love that. I think honestly, it would just solve so many problems because people... Anyway, let me not even go into that. I might be telling on myself. You mentioned ADHD. We are seeing kind of like record numbers of people being diagnosed later on in life, especially like a lot of Black women as well. Why is that happening?
That's a good question. I think a few things. One, it's spoken about more, and that's because we have more research on it. It's gone from being a condition that they only associated with boys, actually. So now they've widened it, and they understand how it works with women as well, young girls. And then again, a lot of the research was done on what we call them weird populations in research. It's an acronym for basically say that a lot of research historically has been done on populations that fit this kind of narrow kind of criteria and has left out a whole load of people, including Black people, Black women. So now that research is starting to be done on wider populations, we get more understand about it, which means the conversation then gets started in those populations, and then people start to identify with it more. So I think there's that. So there's more conversation happening. I think culturally as well, we're changing in that our parents or grandparents or whoever came from whatever countries that maybe didn't have the understanding or language or acceptance of kind of neurodiversity or ADHD in this case.
Yeah.
And then as we've grown up in a country or a place that is speaking about it a little bit more, we're having the opportunity to go about that diagnosis later, because maybe again we weren't able to because school blocked us or parents blocked us for cultural reasons. It's not blaming them, it's just understanding. And then I think the last thing is social media. But I think that falls into the conversation part of it actually. More people are talking about it, they're on social media talking about it. It means that you might start to identify it in yourself, and then you go for it.
What kind of traits are more obvious or ignored in girls? Let's say that.
Ignored in girls. Okay, that's a good one. So this is very generalizable. Like I'm generalizing here. It's not for all women, but what we know is that generally girls tend to be more inattentive than hyperactive. So with ADHD, there's 3 components of it. So there's hyperactivity, so always on the move, inattention. And people think this means not paying attention. Inattention doesn't refer to that. It refers to, it's more of a regulation issue, regulating your attention. So you'll find that people can be not concentrating or really concentrating and hyper-focused, right? But the word inattention, I don't think captures that, so people get a bit confused. And then impulsivity, so basically acting before you think, essentially. With girls, that you tend to see just more inattentiveness. And again, thinking about how I think with stories, Black women are kind of told to constantly be strong and working in those things. So you might see her being able to like lock in, focus, hyper-focus on something, work maybe, and then all of a sudden she's burnt out and she can't do anything for weeks, months, right? It's because she hasn't been able to kind of regulate her attention, right? So that can be something that gets overlooked. It's just kind of maybe, burnout, but what's the root of the burnout?
Right.
And then the next thing is, girls tend to be less hyperactive in the kind of typical way, like always fidgeting and all of those things and running around like, young boys. But they talk a lot. Hyperactivity looks like talking.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Talking, really, really talkative.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, really talk. And when they're telling the story, again, with the like kind of inattention, so sometimes I'm like assessing or working with a young girl that has ADHD. She'll be telling me a story and it goes, but not in a way that kind of, it's like, you know, you've been distracted by a thought here. This isn't really following. And now you don't remember what I asked you. And again, that's fine. That's like part of you, right? And I'm sure, again, in social circumstances, that can really help you out. I like to say that the school environment isn't set up for the young person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely. And how many of us got that feedback on our report card? Do you know what I mean? Very chatty, distracts others, all that kind of stuff. But that's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So would you recommend people to get tested to see if they have ADHD? Do you think there's a big benefit on it? Or especially like people in later life? Because if they've been living up until like 30, 40 with it, is there any point?
This is a really big debate in our field as well about like testing or assessing and diagnosing. Regardless of your age, whenever you come to me, even if it's a young child and it's the parent, I'll even say, what's this for? What's this going to give you? Just because I want to understand, right?
Yeah.
If it's a sense of understanding that I've been having these problems for so long and I thought it was a me problem, but actually you want to understand whether it's a neurodiversity thing, and that can be really helpful for people's sense of self. Yeah. Because they might have been called lazy for years or whatever it might be. And like to have that explanation can be a lot, like really helpful for them in their mental health. So it could be for understanding and a sense of identity. It could be because it gives you access to things. Again, how the systems are set up is that a lot of the time, especially when I'm working with kids, they need a diagnosis to get something.
Right.
And that might be also for adults as well. So maybe at work, they're really struggling and they need this report. So occupational health will help them. So maybe it's because you really need that. And again, some people might want medication as well. So that might be something that they want to look into. It can also be really helpful for other people to understand you. So instead of saying to someone, oh, by the way, I can do this, and this, like a long spiel about yourself. If you just say I've got ADHD, it's a quick and easy way to explain without having to like pour yourself out to people all the time. Yeah. So it can help with people in their relationships as well. People can become more tolerant, I guess, to their difficulties, or understanding, I should say, of difficulties, because they're like, oh, okay, they've got this diagnosis. I'm not saying that's right. You know, you should hope that your friends or people that you're in a relationship with can support you regardless of that. But some people really kind of, they benefit from that. So yeah, there's different reasons that people might want to do it.
Okay. And what do you think about self-diagnosis?
Self-diagnosis, yeah, it's tricky. Again, I know that we have an issue right now with the length of time it takes to get an assessment. Yeah. Again, I work with kids, I don't know, I have to tell them like 3-4 years before you get your full assessment.
Sorry?
Oh, yeah.
3-4 years?
Yeah, so from the point of referral.
Yeah.
So you have to get a referral. This is how CAMS works anyway. You get a referral and then you have to wait for an initial assessment. Right? So even if the referral says we think they have ADHD, I can't take that on face value, right? So I then have to do an initial assessment where we kind of pick things apart a little bit more because it could be something else. Okay. But say it is, we think actually, it could be ADHD. Yeah. You need to go on another waiting list. Bearing in mind that wait list from referral to initial assessment was probably 18 months to 2 years.
What?
And then, so yeah, this is a national problem. This isn't where I work problem. This is a national issue. And it's adults is shorter, but still not great. To my knowledge anyway. So I understand that people get frustrated waiting in that time. And again, because of the benefits, you know, the shorthand communication with people, the understanding of themselves, if they've read enough, it might be easier for them to just go with the self-diagnosis because they don't want to wait for someone to confirm it because it's just causing too many issues with them waiting. Absolutely understand that. I really do. But at times I get concerns because, again, we have to do a lot of weeding out before we get to that point. Have you done that weeding out? Have you have you understood that there could be other things going on? Second of all, as well, you know, there are benefits to having these diagnoses, but there also can be difficulties that come along with it as well. And there's times when I've had people or parents give quite, again, big labels to young people and communicate them with other people like schools or family members, and it holds a lot of weight. And if that gets mentioned and then somehow documented at school, all of a sudden everyone thinks they've got something they haven't got.
Right.
And they're being treated differently. And I'm not saying this is right. I'm just saying this is a reality that there can be stigmas to certain labels.
Yeah.
So now they're being treated differently. And then how's that impacting the young person? Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So it's a really techie one. I would always advise against self-diagnosis. Mm-hmm. I think it's always beneficial to go to a professional and think about it. I know it's really hard and I know there's a lot of problems with doing that. I would lean more towards maybe saying I have difficulties with whatever the symptoms are. Right. Opposed to saying the diagnosis, again, for those reasons.
I think a lot of us, because we're chronically online, do think.
Yeah.
Especially if you got, because I'm dyslexic, so I from what I understand, if you have one neurodivergent kind of like condition, it's likely that you could have another, whether it's dyspraxia or maybe on the autism spectrum and that sort of thing, as well, kind of thing. So I feel like a lot of us are looking at these things and thinking, do we relate? Do we fit in? Do you know what I mean? And I think like social media makes it so much easier. And because also as well, like the language that is being used there, you can think, you know, it's just like watching CSI and thinking you can solve a crime. Mm-hmm. Like you watch these TikToks and stuff, some by like, you know, like clinical psychologists yourselves and stuff, and you can start to really feel like you're speaking like a psychologist. Yeah. What do you think about that in terms of like how, you know, the language from your field, how it's like filtering out into social media and people are using that in their everyday lives? What do you think about that?
Yeah. Again, pros and cons. I think it's great that there's more information out there. People are able to kind of have language to understand themselves a little bit more. And also understand other people as well. So I think as well it's opened up a conversation. I think it's really helpful in some ways. But in other ways, I think we can then go too far with it and pathologize really normal human things. Yeah. Right? In order for something to be a clinical diagnosis, whether it's anxiety, low mood, it's about the length of time, severity, and impact it has on your life. Okay. You being sad for a little bit is not depression. And we all get sad. Yeah. I think we're trying to make out like human experiences need to be like really neat and clean all the time. And even going back to when I was saying, I'm never going to be the person that says, you were never going to feel these things again. Yeah. It's unrealistic. And also it would make you a robot. You're not a robot. Right? So yes, you're going to be sad, and yes, you're going to get anxious sometimes, hypervigilant, whatever it is. But all of those things are normal human experiences. And when we start to make an issue, I think we then raise more problems because now you're hypervigilant about your own experience. And now you're trying to say, oh my gosh, I must have this thing. And now you're in this like anxiety loop instead of being like, I'm feeling sad and that's okay. Feel the feelings, cry, do whatever you need to do. I'm not saying you can't feel it. But you don't now need to go into this loop of thinking that you have something. It's almost like a health anxiety. Do you know what I mean? I think we're starting to like make ourselves really anxious about really normal things. And I think then it filters into how we interact with each other and our relationships. And then you start diagnosing other people in your relationships, and that's not always helpful. And sometimes as well, like I'll be working with someone, and again they might drop a kind of like buzzword. And I'd be like, well, what does that mean? Because it's almost like it's a way to stop thinking. So for you to say, oh yeah, because he's a narcissist. Okay, well, like we need to carry on this conversation, and I need to know what your thinking process is behind that. So you just saying that is kind of stops the conversation, but also stops thinking. And my job is to help you think. So I'm always going to ask you, what do you mean by that? Where did you get that from? What's your understanding of it? Because how you're applying it might not even be how the person you learned it from intended it as well. So yeah, that's how I feel about it.
That's interesting. I feel like definitely narcissistic behavior, narcissism, that has been absolute buzzwords in the recent times. Everybody seems to be like a narcissist.
Everyone's a narcissist. Yeah.
Basically. But is everybody a narcissist?
Not everyone's a narcissist. So this is the interesting thing as well, in that there's the diagnosis of like a narcissistic personality disorder, which is incredibly rare. Also as well, because I don't think a lot of people who actually meet that criteria would always end up in the places where they'd even get the diagnosis anyway. So there's that as well. There's that part of it. Yeah. But also when we're speaking in like a therapy, psychoanalytic, psychology way, we recognize narcissism as part of the human experience. Mm-hmm. So sometimes, we are all narcissistic at times, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean we have a narcissistic personality disorder. It just means that sometimes we're a bit selfish.
Yeah.
And again, it's part of the human experience. And also as well, I want to have conversation about that with you, right? Mm-hmm. If you're my client. Again, what is that serving for you? Is that, because a lot of the time it is a defense mechanism as well. Okay. What is it kind of helping you feel that you don't feel like you can get in other ways? Is it making you feel really powerful? Is it making you, give you like a sense of autonomy? Whatever it might be. How can we get that in ways that may be a bit more helpful for you? And how can you be more aware of that? And again, have choices about doing things differently going forward. Yeah.
I like that. I think the thing that stay with me is like the choices. Like, honestly, create more choices for yourselves. If you adapt your thinking, you can create more choices for yourself.
Absolutely.
And you can do that at any age, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You're good. I'll say that. I want to know your thoughts on, like, I guess like the Ticktockification of psychology, and I guess like what you think about that.
Yeah. So you mean so like people making content, like psychologists making content?
Well, yes, that and other people as well.
Okay, because I'm one of them, guys.
Yeah.
Not tough on me now. What do I think? Again, so I'll tell you my personal reason that I like to do it. I've just spoke to you about how long wait lists are, right? Yeah. And I say the same things a lot, which means that a lot of people probably benefiting from like a single sentence.
Yeah.
So my thing is like, why are you now waiting for however long and maybe not even meeting the threshold for NHS, because our thresholds are going up and up and up. Like things need to be quite severe before you get that kind of.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's loads of issues, right?
Yeah.
So for people that maybe don't meet that threshold, but also maybe don't have the resources for private work, because I'm going to be upfront, it's not cheap, right? Where are you left? Do you know what I mean? So my head is like, if I keep saying the same things over and over again to people, why don't I just say it on here? And then loads of people could know. Yeah. So for me, it's just about giving more access to information. And I think because we are bound by like an ethical guidelines and a governing body, you would hope a lot of us are doing it in an ethical way and a helpful way and a correct way. So in that sense, I think we should carry on. Hence I'm here. You mean other people? Again, I'd be worried about kind of misinformation and what they're claiming. And I think it's really important for people to kind of have some discernment as well. Like, I think I've come to the conclusion that we're not going to stop people from making the content.
Yeah.
But I would like people to feel, again, choices. People who are viewing to feel a bit more empowered and have discernment. I even did a video about this actually on my TikTok. Even when it comes to me, guys, right? I was even going to look in the camera, guys. Any self-help information that you take in from a professional or otherwise, please just have some discernment. Think about it. I say this to people I work with as well. I know you've come to me as the professional expert, and yes, I have like some knowledge and credentials that definitely could help you, but you are the one that needs to apply this. Does this really apply to your life? And if not, how can it apply to your life? Don't be so rigid with everything that you're taking in online and thinking that you have to be the one that gets up at 5 a.m. and like be the Pilates girl and that's how the self-care has to look. It might not apply to your life because you are caring for an elderly parent, because you are a single mom, or like whatever it is. This doesn't apply in the same way to you. So please have discernment with anyone that you're watching, and go from there.
Hey guys, if you want to join the membership, which I think you should, I mean, I'm being biased, I know, but The membership is great. You need to go to youtube.com/@SadeSalamiOfficial/join. There are 2 tiers, one for $1.99. And if you're a big baller, then you can get the $6.99 package because, you know, support a sister, you know? If you are a member, then you get to ask a question that could be included in the episode. And of course, you get access to the Discord. It's loads of fun in there. So join today. Let's talk a little bit about survival mode and healing. So I would say like a lot of us grew up with like maybe our mothers, our grandmothers, and that in survival mode, right? Like what kind of impact does that have on us?
Whew, okay. I'm going to start from the womb.
Mm-hmm.
So what we know is, have you heard of epigenetics?
Say more, and maybe.
So epigenetics is the concept where the genes, expression of our genes can be kind of modified based on what we experience, especially in the womb.
Okay, yeah.
So say now you're in the womb and your mom's going for a really stressful time for whatever reason. Your nervous system is the first thing to develop, like literally it's the first thing that happens. The brain, the stem and everything, right? It's getting primed and it's getting exposed to this stress and cortisol, etc. And it's sort of basically wiring to say, guys, when we get out there, it's going to be mad.
Oh, yeah?
It's actually going to be really mad when we get out there. So we need to be ready for it to be mad. Yeah, we need to be fighting. We need to be ready. So then your kind of gene expression, the way that everything is made up, is that you can become very kind of hypervigilant, like ready for things to go off. And you're in survival mode because you've experienced your mum being in survival mode. And then now say that survival mode continues because of the environment that you guys are in. That becomes confirmed. So again, your body is ready for it. You might again have like a high level of cortisol that you become tolerant to, not knowing that it's actually really damaging to you. But also as well, as a child, you are developing that kind of, again, sense of self, sense of identity, these schemas and core beliefs that I've been talking about who I am as a person, what other people are like, and what the world is like. So if I'm in survival mode, you're probably thinking something like, yeah, out there is scary. I always need to be ready to fight people. And no one's really going to value me, or no one's really going to kind of see me as a person. I need to be ready to fight them, right? Something like that. And then everything you do starts to be kind of wired from there. And we know that young people who have faced what we call ACEs, so adverse childhood experiences, there's a long list of them. The more that you face, you have higher likelihoods of mental health difficulties, physical health difficulties as well, and actually a lower life expectancy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the range of these ACEs go from poverty all the way to being in like a war-torn country.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, having to be just fighting for your life all the time. Cognitively, the way you think changes. Your body is prepped for it. And then if that's the case, now say you go into school environments, you're going to be ready to fight at it. And then that's when you're starting to learn how to navigate relationships. Because when you're born, the only person or people that matter are your parents or the immediate adults around. Yeah, those people. They're your absolute world as a child. You can't see past them. You actually can't see yourself separate from them either. So we actually think we're still like our moms for a long time. Yeah. That's why, if parents separate when a child's really young, they think it's their fault because they can't separate themselves cognitively and psychologically from their parents.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Is that why?
Yeah, it's me. Like, you're my world, so it must have been me. Like, we can't separate ourselves.
That's so sweet and sad.
It's very sweet and it's very sad. It's very sad.
Oh my God.
So yeah, we're sort of learning to separate ourselves as we go more and more into the world. Nursery school, we're starting to realize, oh, I'm a person. Even down to, there's a stage when you're like a toddler, babies will pick something up and put something down. It's because they're learning that if I do something happens. That's them starting to learn that I'm someone in the world. So, sorry, I went into a bit of a geek out mode there.
No.
But they're going to school and they learn about relationships and friendships. If they're already primed to be kind of on defense, if someone's defensive to you, you're probably going to be defensive back, right? Yeah. So you're going to have a higher likelihood of having those kind of harder experiences, which then confirms your kind of thinking in your head. So then you do it even more. And over and over and over again, things can just happen in your life because that's what you're used to. That's how you think. That's how you're wired.
So how do you stop that cycle? Because if that's your grandmother, then your mother, and it becomes you, how do you stop that? And how do you stop passing that on?
Awareness is the key. And again, awareness. Sometimes I've been thinking about this lately. Like I think sometimes awareness is a privilege to have the opportunity to kind of look up and be like, oh wait, do I want this? Because again, maybe if you have parents or grandparents who are coming from, immigration, war, whatever it is, where I don't have time to think about I just need to keep going. So having that opportunity to have awareness is really important. And I think as well, being around people that can hopefully raise that in you can be really helpful as well. But having that awareness and then making the smallest, most imperfect step towards changing. And I say that because regardless of what age you end up deciding that this is something you want to change, it's hard. It's hard. It's what you've been used to for X amount of years. Yeah. So I always say to people, I don't care about perfection here. If I give someone homework or whatever, I want the smallest, most imperfect possible step that you can make. And sometimes people need support to be able to do that. So hopefully people can have access to support to do that. But some people end up doing it on their own. Yeah. There's many people that do it on their own. There's many people that kind of, and again, I guess this is a pro of having like social media, not only for like actual like information, but also representation of how things can be different. So if you've, seen an environment that hasn't been the best for you, and then you see, a family vlogger, showing a different dynamic. And again, I guess we can get into media literacy and how true that is and all of those things. But at least it's a level of representation that, you can live differently. And I think that gives people something to aspire to as well.
And in a way, I think it's kind of a little bit more powerful than when I was growing up. I guess like there wasn't social media in the same way. So we got all our cues from TV shows, right?
My Wife and Kids.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So it was like really false. Do you know what I mean? So it was like more, I guess, like ideological, but social media kind of like, obviously media literacy aside, you're seeing real people, live out another possibility, right? Another choice as well. I was thinking about trauma. Do you think you can ever truly heal from trauma?
That's a good question. Define heal.
Okay, you define heal.
Okay, so the way I see it, because I think the way I see it is, this is the analogy that I use with people, right? Say you have a wardrobe and you just throw all your stuff in there. You don't fold it up, you just throw it all in there. And then you try and squeeze it closed. You know, when you just open it a little bit, it all kind of falls out, doesn't it? Yeah. That's trauma, right? When you experience things and it's seen as a threat, and especially life-threatening, your brain doesn't do the kind of neat packing up of a memory that it does kind of normally. It kind of just pushes it down. So then when the smallest thing happens that reminds you of that, again, even on an unconscious level, wardrobe doors open, comes back. Now, my kind of definition of healing would be taking all of that out, all the clothes, and folding them up and then putting them back in the wardrobe. So that now the wardrobe doesn't just fly open, but it might open and you can see it, but it's not coming out at you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's there. I know that happened, but it's not affecting me in the same way. To me, that would be healing. Now, some people, I think, is the way it's discussed, it's almost like they want it to be completely forgotten about. I just don't think that's realistic. I personally don't think that's realistic. I think being able to, it might become more and more of a distant memory. It might come up less frequently, but we don't know what can make it come up again. But at least this time, it's folded away nicely. You have awareness of when it's coming up and you can kind of cope with it in a different way. To me, that would be kind of healing.
I wonder. So like, okay, with that analogy, so if you just close the door and it just never opens again, then what would that be? That would be
when they're folded, or
yeah, everything's folded.
Yeah.
Actually, that's another option. Everything's not folded. That's one option.
Okay.
The door's closed. Never think about it. Doors never open again. Or it's all folded and the door's closed and it never opens again.
Okay. It tends to be highly unlikely that if the clothes all packs in, that door will not open again.
Okay.
As much as you try and push it close, something's going to happen. And it's because it's bursting at the seams, isn't it? It's kind of always pushing against you, and it takes up a lot of your mental space. It's almost like a hum in the back of your head. And again, maybe you can go about your day, but then you might notice it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But the second option, you said what? The clothes are packed away and it doesn't open again.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I mean, again, it's probably opens less frequently, but I'm sure you might come across a life experience at some point that can be like adjacent to that experience. And so, but again, yeah, it's just like less frequent.
What should you do in those moments? So like practically, if you had suffered from some sort of trauma and you're just going about your day and you have a thought, what do you do? Is it best to acknowledge the thought and just continue, or but should you sit with it, or like, or I'm saying this like, say you don't have like a therapist, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
you just have that intrusive thought.
Yeah.
I'd be again, if I was the client, I'd be asking more questions. I'm going to try and answer at face value. If you have an intrusive thought about the trauma, you probably will have some kind of bodily thing. Again, fight or flight. You know, the threat is coming from the inside.
Yeah.
Right. So you'll probably have some kind of. So I would always say attend to the body first.
Okay.
Why? Because when we are out of what we call our window of tolerance, so we all have what we call a window of tolerance where we can go about our day and feel fine and we can deal with like inconveniences and those things. But sometimes our window is small in it. Like, you know, you haven't slept.
Yeah.
You're hungry.
Yeah.
So you can deal with less things.
Yeah.
Right? So when it's small, maybe because it's been triggered by the intrusive thought, you're probably going to go into fight or flight. And what we know is that when your body is in fight or flight, the kind of thinking part of your mind shuts down and it becomes all very instinctual and it's all very bodily. That's why we say, you know, try and calm your body down before you start doing all the thinking. Don't try and think yourself out of it. Right now, if your body is feeling a certain way, attend to that. Sit down for a moment, have a drink, breathe. Also, I'm really big on what we call co-regulation. So, you know, I was talking about self-care. That's like a form of like emotional regulation, so being able to kind of deal with your emotions. And that's very much like you on your own doing that.
Yeah.
Co-regulation is doing it with another person, having another person help you. Yeah. So if there's a person that you really trust, if they're around or you can call them, they might also be able to support you in that time as well.
Okay. Yeah.
And then once you feel like you're calmer, your window of tolerance is widened a little bit, you can think a little bit more, you might want to do some thinking about it. And again, it might be to reassure yourself that you're safe, because a lot of the time when the trauma comes, it's a threat like, I'm not safe, this person is here, or this thing could happen, or whatever. You remind yourself and your body, I'm actually safe right now. I'm not there in the past or whenever it happened. I'm safe right now. I am okay. And that's how you might bring yourself back down.
Okay. That's interesting. Because I wonder though, because I think like, especially with friends and stuff, right? Like, I think they have good intentions sometimes, but they don't necessarily know how to deal with your stuff, you know, because even if you can't deal with your stuff even, do you know what I mean? Or having a hard time.
Yeah.
Like how, I don't even know, like, I've got a fully formed question, but I guess like I'm interested in like, how can you show up or as a friend to someone who can't be a friend to you?
So they can't reciprocate. Like if you were going through something.
Yeah. So if you're going through a trauma and stuff, like, or if you've got like, definitely got hard times, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, and your friend wants the normal version of you, but you can't be that because you're going through your stuff, and that's never ending, right? Like for a lot of people, their trauma will continue throughout their lives. So they have this, maybe like this up and down thing going on. Like, how do you still maintain friendships if they're not psychologists and they can't understand your every mood, moment, and what you're feeling? Like, so it might be the intrusive thought, like, do you know what I mean? And like, you're trying to regulate yourself, but you're not very good at it, or whatever kind of thing. And it's having a negative knock-on effect on your relationships because you can't manage it well.
Yeah.
I guess both sides though, like.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. So I guess with the friend trying to help someone, I think compassion and grace will get us far. But we don't, as humans, have infinite amounts of it. We don't.
Yeah.
I'm being realistic. So I think it's really important to extend that as much as you can to a friend, and maybe educate yourself as well. We have Google these days.
That's very true.
So if you know that they're going through something, what's the best thing to say to a friend who's going through grief, for example, and spending the time doing that, but also knowing where your limits are. And again, if there's other people, this is where community comes in. I need to tap out for a sec. Can you take over?
Right.
Right. So then you all get your time to kind of recharge.
Yeah.
And this is all very idealistic. Not everyone has communities and stuff, but this is what I would say. But then also, again, even within that, when do we now need to call upon the professional for someone, especially if you do think they're actually in danger? Like, that's like a safeguarding thing. Like, maybe think about kind of seeking out support and doing the practical work for them, because sometimes when people are going through things, they can't think, and there's a lot of getting help is a lot of admin,
Yeah.
It's a lot of admin.
Yeah.
It's not great. Like, it's a lot of admin. So people don't have the capacity for it. So maybe it's about doing that, educate yourself, extending grace as much as you can. Sometimes as well, when the friend is a bit more okay, you might want to just ask, what do you want from me right now? Do you want a rant, or do you want some advice? We don't need to go into the advice. I might just need someone to listen. The amount of times I've had sessions where I haven't said much, and I always ask people, like, how am I leaving you today? I feel so much better. I just needed to talk to someone. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes it is, you don't need to fix everyone. You don't need to fix your friends. Maybe you just need to be a listening ear. But I also understand that we don't have endless amounts of compassion and grace. Like, everyone has limits. I know that. With the friend actually going through something, again, if you feel like you can, because again, I know there's different levels to this, you might want to reach out and get that support from a professional to kind of make those steps to help yourself. And again, I would also say, and I'm a bit of a broken record, is kind of have some compassion towards yourself through this process. And it can be dark, and it can be horrible, and it can be messy. And if there's a bit of you inside of you that can say that this will pass, a bit of you that can kind of say, I can get back from this, even if you're feeling the feelings, I really always encourage that as well.
I think that's really helpful. And I think people overestimate how much, like, being the friend, like, how much they can actually deal with. Yeah. I think they really overestimate. And I think they internalize, I'm being a bad friend because I can't deal with this person's thing. And it's just like, well, no, a professional needs to actually deal with that. Yeah. And even from the person going through the thing, it's just like, not necessarily putting too much pressure on your friends as well, because they're only people. Yeah, exactly.
Like, know your limits. And again, that comes down to boundaries as well, like knowing your limits. And when I say the word boundary, again, it doesn't need to be this harsh, strict thing, but it's like, oh no, I'm actually getting to my limit now. Before I cross this boundary with myself and extend even more, that's a breeding ground for resentment. You're going to destroy your friendship. So sometimes the best thing you can do for your friendship is recognize, I'm getting to this limit and I don't want to overstep it because I really care about this person that can damage our friendship. Yeah. So that's something. And I also think it's important for people to think about, what does friendship mean to you? Because if it's going out all the time and having fun, that's, again, fine. That's part of friendship. It's really important for us to do that. But have you thought about how actually some of this is a commitment? The same way that you have a commitment for your romantic partner, your like whoever it is, yeah. It should be, well, in my opinion, but everyone's different. That's part of friendship. I'm with you in that messy bit as well. You're in a relationship with a human. They're going to go through stuff.
They do. It is a commitment, isn't it?
It's a commitment.
Gosh. What if you're commitment phobic? I'm scared. I'm joking. No, but I hear that. Can we talk about boundaries actually? Because you mentioned them there. What are healthy boundaries?
Yeah, good question. The intention of your boundary should always be to keep the relationship healthy and safe for both people, right? It's not to shut people out. It's to keep the relationship feeling good.
How do you know if you're doing not shutting people out?
How do you know if you're not shutting people out?
Yeah.
You also have to allow space for tension in relationships. And I think sometimes we, again, pathologize tension in relationships. Like, nope, didn't like that, shut down, block, ghost, whatever. You're shutting someone out because you felt a little bit of tension. Again, you can have a conversation and say, I wasn't really feeling that. I want to work this through with you. But next time we face a similar problem, this is how I'd like things to run, or this is how I want things to run. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you can still go through that tension point, but still put in the kind of expectations you have for the relationship, I think that's okay. But if you kind of feel a little bit and you're like, nope, and I'm out, you've not allowed for like the messiness of a friendship or a relationship.
Hear it. I think definitely like a shutdown. I feel because sometimes like you want to talk to someone, yeah, they're not honest in what they're saying. So what is the point of the conversation? So like I would rather not deal with that anymore than go through a dishonest conversation.
Yeah.
What do you do in that scenario?
If it's a repeated pattern, like as in you tried and then now we're moving to the point where like, no, like I actually need to completely disengage. I was talking more like maybe this is your first time figuring things out.
Right, okay.
Yeah, if it's a repeated pattern and you've spoke about it and it's not changing, you might need to reevaluate the whole thing altogether. And yeah, maybe now you need to completely remove yourself or really distance yourself. Absolutely hear that. I'm not going to encourage people to talk constantly with people that are committed to misunderstanding them or just aren't hearing it or just don't have the awareness, etc., etc. So yeah, I do think there's room to completely like disengage at times. Yeah.
Okay. But try and talk to people.
And I think as well, again, having choices and options, but also being really sure about what your values are, right? So even if the relationship ends, do you want it to end in a way in which you can say, I tried my all and I even gave them the opportunity to prove me wrong? Or do you not want to do that and not even know what could have happened? Because how do you know? Again, this is if it's not a repeated pattern.
Yeah.
That person could have proved you wrong. And you could have had an even better friendship because you went through that conversation, that hard conversation with them. And you didn't even get a chance to do that. Is it worth it? Do you know what I mean? So it's about weighing up those things as well.
Yeah. Okay, you're making me think. But yeah. But I think like I think there's a fear of like, yes, they could prove you wrong, but if they prove you right, that's even worse.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the tension, maybe part of the tension of it all.
Yeah.
But that I find very scary. Yeah. I don't like that.
And that's where we have to like meet ourselves. Like, why is that so scary? And even if that's true, you have this fear. Do you believe in your own ability to cope with that? What if that outcome does happen? Because sometimes you don't even trust. We're so scared of it because I don't even trust myself to be able to cope with that. Sometimes I'm working with people to say that could happen. Actually, this fear that you have actually could, but we will get through it, and you will get through it. So now it's like being able to know that, okay, this thing could happen. I'm going to do it anyway, and it could happen, and it will hurt. I'm not saying it's not going to hurt. You might be devastated, but you can trust yourself enough to get through that.
Do you think we're hardwired to protect ourselves from hurt?
Yeah, the brain says keep you alive, isn't it? And it doesn't want you to feel pain, really. That's why it's hard to start a new habit, because it's unfamiliar, and we don't even like discomfort.
Yeah,
let alone pain.
Yeah.
We don't like discomfort. We don't, and we're hardwired. Yeah, the brain is there to do that. But again, choices. Choices. Do we really want that or not?
It's true. We talked about strength and like the strong black woman and everything like that. Do you think that strength can be a deterrent, or not deterrent, get in the way of healing?
That's such a good question. Yes, is my short answer.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think it can be programmed into us that strength means abandoning parts of ourselves that are deemed as weak, when again, they're just human. But we've been told that they're weak. We've got a lot of shame attached to those sides of us. So to sit with those things and go through that messy process of trying to get to another side comes with fear and shame.
So kind of a bigger question, just like your thoughts on generational trauma. What can we do as a society, a community, to kind of like help that type of thing? Yeah.
You know what? I'm glad you've asked that question, because I feel like all my answers have been very much what you can do, and I'm very big on like communities as well. I'm going to think Maslow's hierarchy of needs in it. So I think we need structural things in place. I say this at work. I say this all the time. The emotional and the kind of practical go hand in hand. You need structures and resources to be able to give people the headspace to then do the self-actualization. Again, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So I think it's important to attend to each other with those resources. Again, actually, that's something you can do if you maybe feel at your capacity, like emotionally with someone or a friend. Maybe you fall into the practical. I'm going to give you food. I'm still going to look after you. I'm going to give you water. I'm going to do those things, because that might be a more light touch for you to just show up at the door. I'll give you some food and then leave. If you just, because all of those things go hand in hand. So attend to people and each other practically. Like back in the day, we would have a party. Everyone would make food and take it to the whole party, and then that was it. We don't really do that anymore in the same way. Like again, that was a really practical way to help each other. So I think that's really important for communities. I think having more awareness and understanding about different things, neurodiversity, mental health, trauma, I think is going to be really important as well. So I think we need education in the community and sharing knowledge with each other. We need a lot of compassion with each other to go through those processes as well. And then I think as well, again, this is me going really big, we need political action and change. Because again, thinking about the systems in place that are there to constantly tear us down, that needs to change as well. And I have a love-hate relationship with this idea about us having to be the force that changes things, but that's just how things work, isn't it? Like, we all have to come together to make a bigger change. So I think there's a political aspect to it as well.
So when it comes to healing, because we talked about like self-care and like some kind of like surface level self-care and going deeper, but what are some things that people get wrong with healing? What are some things that people think are healing but actually aren't?
The first thing that came to my head is, when people go into like an isolation mode because they're like, I'm grinding, doing my thing, but for how long? How long are we doing this for? Because we're social like animals, do you know what I mean? Like we need to be around other people and it's good for us. So it's like, to what extent are we doing that? And again, I understand the kind of push to do that, because you need more than one income these days. You definitely do. So I understand why people do that, but that kind of like hustling thing, I think, isn't as great for us in the long run. It depends. You need balance, basically. And I think the other thing, because when people talk about healing, they tend to think about like a relationship.
Oh.
Do you know, like they tend to think, I went for a breakup and I need to heal.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's the kind of like conversation I always hear. And there's this thing of like, I'm not going to get back into a relationship until I'm healed. And And I'm like,
that's not healthy?
Again, to what extent?
Okay.
Yes, there's a grieving process for the relationship, and yes, there's probably some kind of like you do some kind of analytics in your head and reflection about what you could have done better, or what you didn't like and what you did like and what you might want to take forward. Cool, that's all part of it. You do need to do that. But people think that they go through this process and they're healed, but you won't know until you've been tested. Mm-hmm. You need to go back into relationship to know whether this has worked or not. So you don't know.
No, I hear you.
You think I've healed because that's because you've been doing your own thing for like however long. Like, you don't know.
Yeah.
So it's not always and again, that depends on if that's important to you, I will say, because some people don't want a romantic relationship, and that's also fine if it's for like a legitimate reason. Sometimes it's avoidance.
Why do you say that? That was very loud.
But yeah, I think that's another thing that comes to my head. It's like, it's not not the flex. Almost as well. I also did a video on this. This was years ago, I think. Actually, I did this video, but it was to the girls. It was to the girlies. I was like, sis, you're even depriving yourself of the thing that you want on this kind of like, focus on me and focus on me and focus on me. Again, fantastic. You should prioritize yourself and you should have your own goals, etc., etc. But how much of this is now avoidance? How much of this is now you just kind of, again, making yourself feel better on the surface, but not having the opportunity to do the unfortunate, messy stuff that comes with a relationship. And you want it, so gotta try.
It's too scary.
No, it's terrifying. The one thing guaranteed in a relationship is disappointment.
Oh,
guaranteed in a relationship.
Not guaranteed.
Yeah.
You're not selling it.
The parents are going to disappoint you. Like, what relationship is easy? Tell me.
I know, it's true. It's true. This is why we should just be alone. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. But no, it's true. It's a part of life. It really is. But I guess it's how you deal with those disappointments.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I can get over my disappointment with men. I'm not going to lie. I'm finding it very hard. Yeah. And I'm okay with that. I feel like I'm okay with that. But then it might be just avoidance. It might just be one big lump of avoidance.
Could be, but again, and choices. I will always say to someone as well, that avoidance, if it is that, is also a choice. I'm not here I'm just letting you know there's other choices, and I'm going to help you explore them. But if you continue to choose that choice, then you're choosing that choice.
Yeah. I'm good, man. I think I'm happy. I think so. Do you know what I mean?
Do your thing.
Okay, one other question that I wanted to ask you was about faith and religion. And because it plays such a huge role in like Black communities and everything like that, how can religion really support healing when sometimes it feels like it's contradictory to, you know, solving an issue?
No, it can. It can feel contradictory, but I do think it can help. There's big life questions that we all have, existential questions that we will kind of destroy ourselves in, like if we like keeping our heads with it. And sometimes we need to feel small. Like there needs to be something bigger than us, and religion can give you that. Like this idea that there's some, like it's, whether it's gods, and you know people have different ways of thinking about gods. But that can be really helpful for us on like an existential level. Also, religion gives us like structures and processes that can be really helpful for getting through difficult times. The way we go about having a wedding, or the way we go about having a funeral, it kind of gives a practical structure around an emotional process. Yeah. And that can be really helpful for us as humans as well. Things like mindfulness. Now, I know mindfulness is like associated with Buddhism, but I mean it in the way of like being really present. So prayer can help you feel really present. And again, thinking about on like a biological level, us being really present in the moment is good for the parasympathetic nervous system. It calms us down. Why? Because anxiety lives in the future. Right. And if we're anxious about something, flight or flight. So us being in the present moment is really helpful. Prayer can do that, and different religious practices can do that, singing, etc. And the last thing I'll say that it's really helpful for is community. Gives you a sense of community, gives you people that can end up being really important to you. It can give you a sense of purpose and belonging. We like to have roles in groups, and it gives you a role in a group as well. So I think it can be really helpful with people.
So now more about you.
Okay.
With your work-life balance, how do you personally switch off?
How do I switch off? There's Amani and there's Dr. Amani. Dr. Amani does, you can see my mind goes everywhere, and I've been speaking about prison abolition and all sorts of things. Dr. Amani does that. Amani does do that generally, but also that's just my friends. I like to have a good time. I like to laugh. I think it's important. So I get paid to think. So sometimes I just don't want to think.
Okay.
And I have a lot of serious conversations, which I am happy to do and I like doing, and it's fine, but sometimes I don't want to think. I don't want to think.
Makes sense.
So I just,
Do you have someone that's not necessarily work related, your go-to person to load off to and that sort of thing?
That's not work related. Oh, my mother.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, my mom. Yeah. She hears a lot of things.
Yeah. Okay. Where did you get this from? Because you were saying earlier that that you knew that you wanted to do this from when you was 13. Was there anyone in your family that was as sensitive as you, or?
No. All the women in my family are, I guess, helping professions.
Okay.
So my mom's a nurse, auntie's a nurse, or a social worker, lawyers. So they're all there to help people. So maybe it's that.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Jamaicans are really matriarchal as is culture. So I did see a lot of women just taking care. My grandmother.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, she just came into my head. It's her. It's her.
Yeah.
It's her. It's my grandmother, my dad's mom.
Okay.
When did she pass? 2016.
Okay.
But she would defend me. She knew I was a sense. She knew my soul.
Yeah.
She knew my soul.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, she did.
Who supports the person supporting everybody else?
Again, family, friends, but I guess in work, we kind of have this we always have to have a supervisor. So there's always someone a bit more senior than you that is overlooking your work, but then also helping you through a few things, whether it's I just don't get why we can't make progress with this client, or I'm confused about what I should do next. Have you watched couples therapy?
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, I love it. It's literally
my God, I love it so much, and I can't get season 5.
I've been looking for it.
Seriously?
I've been looking for it. Yeah, but big fan of Honor. Honor. But so you see the bits when she's speaking to her supervisor. There's clips.
Yes,
So we all have that basically.
Yeah.
So I have a fantastic one.
She's
great, and she's my mentor as well.
Okay.
And has been for 6 years.
Oh, amazing.
6 years. So she helps me a lot.
Okay.
I appreciate her a lot.
Okay, now I have some members' questions. Okay, so this is from the Shardinians. So if you want to have your question read, then you need to become a member. Okay, guys. Link in description. Okay, so first one says, I'm struggling because everyone around me seems further ahead than me. How do you stop comparison becoming shame?
Comparison, thief of joy, isn't it? How do we stop it from being shame? That's a really good question. Let's think about what shame is, right? Do you know the difference between shame and guilt?
Oh, no.
No, okay. Guilt says, I did something that wasn't great. My behavior wasn't good and I need to do something about it.
Okay.
That's the function of it. It's to drive you to rectify it, be accountable, all those things.
Yeah.
Shame says, I am a bad person. Right? I'm fundamentally, there's something wrong with me. Right? It's not my behavior, it's me as a person. Right?
Oh.
And if we think about, again, us as humans, being group animals, some people don't like us being called animals, but we need to be a part of the group. So if the group realizes there's something wrong with me, I'm going to be pushed aside. I'm going to be ostracized. That's not good for our survival. We're not great on our own. So what am I going to do? I'm going to isolate myself. That's why shame makes you isolate yourself, and no one can know this about me, and you're really secretive about this thing that you're ashamed of, even to yourself to an extent. If the driving factor is to isolate yourself and you fundamentally feel like you can't fix yourself because there's something wrong with me, I can't fix it, it's just me as a person, you're not going to be moved to action, right? So what did I say earlier? That was the counteracting thing to shame. Oh, not pop quiz. No, you've been doing better. So you've been doing loads. Compassion.
Compassion. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Mm-hmm. So, what do you think my answer is going to be to the question? You need
be
to
nice to you. Yeah. Be nice to yourself.
And again, I'm not saying these things are easy, and I understand why there's pressures. I understand. I don't know if this is a man or a woman, but regardless of the gender, there are expectations placed on us from very young about how we should be and where we should be at what age.
Yeah.
I think it's important to be compassionate towards yourself in this process. And I always think it's important to, when you're doing that, kind of contextualize things a little bit. And what I mean by that is look outside yourself. Because again, the shame is telling you it's a you thing. Look outside yourself a little bit. Where are those expectations coming from? Can they even exist really practically in this day and age? Again, thinking about cost of living crisis, thinking about how expensive it is to buy a house. I'm trying to think thinking about the landscape of relationships and dating these days is completely different, right?
Yeah.
So if those expectations were placed on you from when you were young by people that were growing up in the 80s when things were easier, it doesn't really, it's not a you thing. So this is me trying to help you work through the shame. It's not a you thing. It's hard. It's disappointing. You're going to feel upset. All of those things, I absolutely understand that. I'm not saying you shouldn't. Again, you're human. But I don't want you to spiral into shame, and that's the question. So give yourself some compassion. Think outside of yourself a little bit. And when you do that, you open up your mind a little bit to different opportunities. Again, choices. Because if you're spiraling in shame, you're going to go inwards and inwards and inwards. You're not going to start to see that there's actually other things that I can do. And when you do that as well, again, have a good sit down with yourself. Do I even want those things? No, like for real, do I want those things? If you do, and that's the conclusion you come to, fine. But you might come to a conclusion where actually I don't, or I do, but not even in that way. So how do I make, again, the smallest possible step towards the thing that I do want? Yeah.
Imperfect step, as you said.
Yeah.
Interesting. Like when you have bouts of depression, could that be like going in like a bit of a shame spiral kind of thing? It
can, yeah. Because like the core bits of depression is like a hopelessness and a helplessness. And you feel awful about yourself and your future and the world. If you're feeling awful about yourself, you're probably going to have awful thoughts about yourself. They're going to most likely spiral into some kind of shame.
Yeah. Do you find yourself unintentionally psychoanalyzing people in your personal life? Is it ever an issue separating your work from your personal life?
You know, I love that question. I get it quite a lot. And I always say the same thing. The more you get to know someone, as humans, we start to pick up patterns, right? We all do it. So we all are psychoanalyzing all of the time. But I guess maybe I pick up on things quicker, and maybe I pick up on things from people that aren't as close to me.
Right.
Yeah, so I might. And it tends to be... traits of maybe like, I'm like, are they going through something? Or it's more that like it comes from a place of concern more than like just being fast for no reason. Like it's like, I'm like, this is a bit.
How much is, sorry to interrupt you there, but how much of that is intuition though? How much is that your internal rather than, can you
differentiate?
Yeah.
Chicken and egg, you know? Because again, going back to the fact that I've probably naturally been like that since I was young, and then went on to like study the theories that like gave me the language to basically probably talk about what I was already thinking and feeling. I can't really, I think it's like a chicken and egg. Sometimes I don't know. Maybe there's like an intuition and I can sense it, but then the Dr. Amani kicks in with like the language to apply to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. Saf also asks, some people won't tell their employers if they have mental health issues because they fear they won't be seen as competent. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, is it the employer's duty to provide reasonable adjustments where needed? How should that be navigated?
It's absolutely legal. Like,
oh yeah,
they have to, they have to do that. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen politically, and those things can change.
Yeah.
But as it stands, yes, they should be giving you reasonable adjustments. But I know that some people don't want to disclose. So maybe that, I don't know, depends on every workplace. Maybe that's going to get in the way of them being able to go about it. However, I would hope, I don't know for sure, but I would hope it's similar with, say, schools. Schools, I understand why they say they want diagnosis, but you actually don't have to have a diagnosis to get like a educational health plan. Which is
really? Oh, okay.
No, you don't have to have one. But obviously there can be like loads of logistics around it.
Yeah. So
I would hope that if you are just struggling with something and you don't want to disclose, I would hope you would have a good enough manager or occupational health or HR to just say, look, I genuinely just struggle with this and I just need a, I don't know, I'm trying to think, a coloured overlay for my computer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I would hope that that's, if you can just go to your occupational health person, HR and or manager, I hope just saying those things would be enough, opposed to having to say you have a diagnosis. I guess maybe it gets a bit more techie when you're thinking about time off.
Yeah.
Opposed to kind of like equipment and stuff. There are kind of charities and so if you go to like Mind UK, they'll have loads of resources about how to have different conversations or like different like names of charities as well that can help you with these things. Yeah, you might want to consult with like a charity or someone to help you kind of navigate that if you don't want to disclose, but you want to think about actually what are my rights when in terms of like taking more time off or leaving early, that kind of thing. But I get why people don't want to talk about it. There is still stigma, especially with these more, I talked about before, like more severe or like heavier diagnoses, the ones that come with a heavier kind of stigma to them. So I understand why people might not want to.
Yeah. Workplaces are messy.
Yeah. And you don't want other people to find out. Or people will judge you. They will not think that you're capable. You won't get a promotion. There's a lot to it.
Yeah. Okay, another one from Saf. What do you think about a cultural, racial or /racial match to your clients? Does it make a difference when you can understand someone or relate to them at work?
It can. It can make a huge difference. And I think it comes down to what you're looking for. The most important thing with a client is my relationship with them. Regardless, like, again, research says it, regardless of what model therapy I'm using, whatever, I need to have a good relationship with you. And if you want to have a relationship with me and you want to feel fully comfortable, and for you being able to not have to explain certain things will make you fully comfortable, then go for it. It can be really helpful. It can be helpful to feel like you're represented as well. The amount of times people have seen my name on their like appointment letter and then they come and see me and they're like, because they don't know what to expect. They don't know a black woman, right? Based on my name alone. And they just go like this. Like, there's like a sigh of relief. I think that can come from just relating to a person like visually. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's also it's important to know that as much as we'll have similarities, we will have differences as well. Yeah. So if you're trying to completely avoid any kind of differences, that's also probably not possible. Yeah. Again, disappointment is possible in every relationship, including the one with your therapist as well. And I actually outline that with people from the get-go. I literally say, if something's not right, like, tell me, like, let's work this out together. So yeah, but there's also benefits for not having a match as well. Some people say that they want to just have a different perspective, but maybe they haven't really thought about because they're so used to people in their same culture. Some people will say there's times as well where they might be worried that you could be part of their community. You could be their aunties.
Let me tell you, one time, I've had therapy quite a bit. One time I had a therapist and I was talking about a person in my therapy session. Did that person not train them and was their manager?
Oh, no.
No. I was just like, this can't continue. This absolutely can't continue. And like, I think she was very good, and had that not been a connection, it would, do you know what I mean? I wouldn't have changed her, but like, I was just like, this is way too close. Way too close. And I just felt like I was betraying the trust. It's not that, because it's therapy, isn't it? But because she knew her, I thought I was betraying the trust, so I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That happens as well. So sometimes you want someone so far removed, like there's no way that you know the people that I know. So there's that.
So quickfire rounds. So tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. Yep. Okay, cool. One thing Black women need to hear.
Oh my gosh. No, I'm on the spot. One thing that Black women need to hear is it's okay to sit down and rest.
One therapy myth.
One therapy myth is that it's there to make you happy.
One phrase you'd erase.
That I would erase. One phrase it's hard because I actually say this quite a lot and I shouldn't. It is what it is.
Okay, one thing you're unlearning.
One thing I'm unlearning. It's going to be a bit personal. Oh my God. One thing I'm unlearning is that asking people to show up for you is not a problem.
Oh, I love that. That's good. Small steps. Small steps. One thing Black women should stop apologizing for.
Their presence.
What's the kids do?
Is it the right finger?
Yeah.
Thanks.
What's one thing that you've had to forgive yourself for recently?
Oh, it's all personal. One thing I've had to forgive myself for is not speaking up when I should have spoken up.
Okay, so if you could go on any reality show, what would it be?
Bake Off.
Serious? Yeah?
Bake Off.
100%. Do you want to go there now? You're like sign me up today.
I definitely Bake Off.
Oh, love that. Yeah. So you bake your spare time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a whole career at one point.
Business. For real? Yeah. Oh, that's a whole different life.
Yeah, I told you the Psychologist thing was long and I was sick of it, and I just veered off for a little bit and then came back. Okay.
What's your favourite thing to bake?
I just like to do a good lemon sponge.
Oh,
yeah.
I love a lemon sponge.
Yeah.
I really
with some white chocolate ganache.
Yeah.
And raspberries.
Oh. You know there is a lemon and raspberry cake in Marks and Spencer's at Don't
say that to me because I'll
limited
be
edition.
Now.
Seriously.
Really?
Yeah. You need to get it before summer ends. Okay, that's good to know. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Oh, best piece of advice I've ever received. Oh, okay. I'm going to go with one my mentor said recently. Find your golden thread. So what she meant by that is I'm someone that likes to do loads of different things and it can feel in my head a bit erratic. And then I feel like, oh no, I need to just stick with this one thing. She goes, if you know what your golden thread is, so the thing that will align you and is driven by your values, anything you do will be successful. So as long as it all kind of comes together, it's okay. Even if it feels messy, there's a golden thread there.
Oh, I love that. That's really nice. What's one thing this conversation has reminded you to do?
Oh. It's reminded me to, one, make those small and perfect steps. I know I say it a lot, but I have to remind myself, and I've said it better times. But 2, I think just keep having conversation. Again, like I said, I tend to have really similar conversations and it's not a problem, but I say things over and over again, and to the point where sometimes I forget that people don't know it because I'm just so used to it. And then I forget that actually having one conversation with someone, hopefully you've learned something.
Oh, 110%. Yeah.
And I appreciate just having conversations with people, and I'm just going to keep doing that.
Absolutely. More. Okay, and last one. What's one thing you do to check in with yourself?
I'll literally talk to myself.
Do you?
No, I'll be like, Amani, what is this?
But your inner voice kind.
I'm like, yeah, what's going on here, babes? What is this? Yeah.
Okay, I love that. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate this. Like you said, I've learnt loads in this convo. Yeah, okay, 100%. Yeah. And it's actually put some things that I had on my mind at ease. So
okay,
yeah.
Good.
Where can people find you?
People can find me on the Clock app. That's what the kids call it. TikTok, and Instagram. They're both Dr.Amani Samah. So AMANI SAMAH.
Okay.
And then also on the new show, The Listener's Couch, streaming every Friday, 7 till 9 on YouTube.
Okay, we'll be tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're very welcome.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you've watched to the end, you know I love you the most. And we'll be back next week with a brand new episode.